Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela. So I was trying to do my tarot spread weekly episode I've been doing here. And I did the meditative breathing. I pulled all the cards, and as soon as I started trying to read the first card, my old phone went dead. So I thought I would try to come out here because I tried to do a video earlier outside, but it was just too bright, even though there was no sun. And now it's 7:30, almost 7:30 at night, and the sun is over there. I got my little shade here to kind of protect my face because crazy. So, and I'm going to go a little bit brighter here. But I did find a spread on Pinterest that I wanted to do. And I'm using my Tarot of the Secret Forest. But it's shadow working with fear. It's 6 cards. And like I said, if you just look up shadow working with fear, you'll be able to find the spread on Pinterest. And I got a little bit of glare from the trees behind me. But this deck, and I edged it in black. It's got color on one side, and then the backs are black and white. And it's sometimes the same image, sometimes they're always the same main image, but there's always a little bit of difference in them. Like the 6 of Swords has a boat in the black and white version, and it doesn't in the other. But I love this deck. It's one of the first ones I got in 2020. And I love it. And I realized I got it because I'm like, oh, I could work with the shadow side and then the light side. I quickly came to realize this deck, there is no light side. It's all shadow. So that's why I'm working with this deck for this episode. But I love this, and I have to give a shout out to Tara from Kitten's Way from Tarot, because that's her channel is who I saw this deck on, and I had to have it. And I'm outside. There's traffic in and out, so I apologize. And I wanted to be outside anyway, and I'm sad that I'd already did the meditation and pulled all the cards before I got to air it. So the first card I pulled, though, so we'll get right into it. Let me pull that back up. The first question is, how does my fear manifest? And I pulled the Ace of Pentacles. And I'm going to look at it, show you that side, and then the black and white side. And it looks like this thing that he's balancing is some type of egg, some type of alien, or maybe a fairy, because this is a fairy deck. But it's a dark fairy deck. But I saw this at first as like balancing, even though the 2 of Pentacles is normally all about balancing. I saw this one as he's balancing something on his head. But then I pulled, and I was like, how does this manifest how is my fear manifested through this depiction? Then I pulled the Empress for the next question, which is, what am I most afraid of? And I will tell you, to me, they go hand in hand, because she's all about bringing, she's a life bringer, birthing new things, bringing new ideas. And to me, this balance, there's a balance that needs to happen, of course, always with me, because I'm always on one end of the spectrum or another. There's never a middle ground for me. But I see this now as more of a fear of, I'm afraid to try new things. I'm afraid to live. I'm afraid to go out in the world, to explore new things, new ideas, new adventures. I'm afraid to do that. And me being a hermit, and I've gotten this message quite a bit lately, to where it's like I pull the hermit card, and then it's like, we know you're a hermit, but stop being a hermit. And I feel like that very much is telling me, again, you need to find this balance. Don't be in your home all the time. You need to go out and explore new things, live your life. And this one was, what am I most afraid of? And that's pretty eye-opening to think that I'm afraid of living. Um, I'm afraid of being wrong. I'm afraid of, that's why I don't read that often for other people, because I'm always afraid, always in the head, always afraid I'm going to be wrong. And then they're going to be like, oh, you're a fake, you're a phony, you don't need to be doing this. But I know in my heart I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm still processing and learning to get over that fear. But when this popped up and it said fear of living, I was like, oh my gosh, like that's pretty dark. And to be honest, quite true. So yeah, with those two cards alone, it was just like, yeah, this is a dark deck. So card 3, how do my reactions protect me? And I got the Queen of Pentacles. 2 Pentacles already. And how do my reactions protect me? This is quite fitting because I am a Virgo. I'm all about being in nature, being one with the grass, the trees, the birds, the deer, whatever's out here. And that's why I like doing these videos out here, because right now you can hear the birds chirping. Yes, you hear other people conversing and, you know, my neighbors and stuff, but it's just the grounding effect of being in nature and being part of something more than myself. And that's what I find quite fitting for this card, because to me, that's what the picture of the Queen of Pentacles is about. It's being one with nature, being super grounded. And she looks like she's completely grounded here. Like she's sitting on the tree stump. She's holding that same, it looks like that same fairy egg or thing that he's got balancing, but it's just smaller, or he's just made to look larger than he is because he is a worm of some sort. But I find that quite fitting. So this would be, how does my reactions protect me? Grounding yourself in nature, immersing yourself in Mother Nature and Gaia, in every part of that. Is to ground yourself, and I find that quite fitting. So number 4, what is my fear rooted in? And I got the King of Swords. And I've said a lot lately, the King of Swords, I identify with the King of Swords more than most of the other cards in the deck, because he's very analytical up here, but then there's this softer side, this being part of nature side. But when it says, what is my fear rooted in? It's all about the mind, because I said before many times, my brain is always going, always thinking, always trying to figure out what's next or what's going to happen. Even if nothing happens, I'm trying to figure out why it's not happening or is happening. And so this is the danger of being the King of Swords, is going to that too analytical side. And again, I hear the word balance. You need to balance head and heart. You need to balance your analytical side with your emotional side. There is a balance that needs to be struck there, because if you're too up in your head, you're not living in the moment. You're living in your head. You're not taking in the things that you need to be grounded by. And I find that utterly fascinating. So card 5, vulnerable part of me. What is the vulnerable part of me? And I got the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is, to me, he's not quite the king, so he's younger. He's maybe more, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? Oh my gosh. My brain. He's gung-ho to fight the good fight, but he doesn't know why. He's fighting the good fight, because he hasn't found himself yet. Yeah. And I just got chills from that. So it could be that that's where I'm at, is that's the vulnerable part of me, is that I'm searching for that ground, that footing, that thing that's going to make me the adult, the thing that's going to connect head and heart, the thing that's going to balance me out. I'm searching for it, but I don't know where to look, or I don't know what it's going to look like, or I don't know what I'm searching for exactly. Um, so that just blew me away. Wow. But he's ready to get down and dirty. He just doesn't know for why yet. Wow, that's crazy. And then number 6, a better way to care for myself. And I got the Ace of Cups. So you see, okay, all of these cards are talking about grounding and birthing new things, and not being afraid to follow your dreams, to follow your passions, to live in the moment. And then the 2 swords right before this that are all about the mind and all about being in your head. And then you get this question, a better way to care for yourself is a cup. It's the Ace of Cups, the beginning of an emotional state, the beginning of feeling things. And I actually just had this card, I think it was no, it was the Ace of Swords. But the aces are all about new beginnings for me. New beginnings with the swords is about, to me, the Ace of Swords is about, birthing a new idea. This is birthing a new feeling, a new way to feel, a new emotion. And with this Empress birthing new things, it's telling me you need to birth something new, maybe even change your perspective to figure out how to birth these new things into fruition. And so, wow, I find that quite fascinating. So I'm going to look at the book here, and I did not bring it out. Oh my gosh. Hold on 1 second. If I can get it to pause. Okay. So it's just a quick reference guide, just like most low Scarabaro decks and their books. Little white books are usually just quick descriptions, but we're going to read what it says in the Ace of Pentacles. Because I'm very curious now, because I don't ever read the books. Because when I'm reading the cards, I just go with my intuition. I never go with the books because the books tend to get in the way. And instead of... No, they're Pentacles in this one. I just got to find them. There they are. So the Ace of Pentacles. Matter, drive, material, thoughts. And that could be the matter or the material thought weighing him down, because that kind of gave me a little shivers there. Because where the Pentacles is always mostly about material wealth, material gain, material loss. I need to look at it more as which is what I normally do with the Pentacles. I look at it as more of a earthy, grounding situation. So I find that fascinating that it's talking about material thoughts. And again, we're back to the swords with the thoughts. So that's very interesting. So then we have the Empress. And I don't know if I showed you guys the back. There's the front. And then there's the back of her. She has no face in the back, in the black and white version. There's no face. You can see her face here, clearly. And then there's literally no face there. It's blacked out or whited out. Interesting. So the Empress, rulership, maternal love, knowledge. So I find that interesting. Because to me, this is all about thoughts, knowledge, knowing, like what I said, he doesn't know. He knows he needs to go in gung ho fighting, but he doesn't know for what cause or for what purpose. And that's very telling to me as well. Like, interesting. So for the Queen of Pentacles, and there's her, and she's clearly on a tree. But if you look on the black and white side, she looks like she's on a worm, a giant worm. And it's got eyes down here and eyes all in there. It's crazy. Crazy. And she's holding the thing close to her instead of away from her here. So there's those subtle differences that what endears this deck to me. Crazy. So the Queen of Pentacles, someone who desires something. So I don't really get that from the Queen of Pentacles. I get that she's like almost like an Empress, and the fact that they're right next to each other when I drew them, kind of fact that she's kind of like a pseudo Empress, where she's all about Mother Nature. She loves communicating with the animals. That's what I see in the Queen of Pentacles. So I find that quite interesting as well. There's a lot of little links to this spread here. And we have the King of Swords. And I've been pulling him a lot lately. He was my card of the month for the month of March. No, this month. Haven't done it yet. So the King of Swords. And I've been pulling him all month long. And then there's the black and white version. And it looks pretty much the same. King of Swords. Someone who has learned to do the right thing. That speaks to me as well. Really does, because I will do the right thing even if it's costly to me at times. That's crazy. And then we have the Knight. Actually, this is the Knave of Swords. But it's still my interpretation of it would still pertain to him. And there's the black and white version. And he looks super young there in the face. You can't really tell here. He's got like longer hair and stuff. But the Knave is someone who knows how to defend his or her options. So that could be my lesson here that I need to learn, which is, this was card 5. Vulnerable part of me, reactions are protecting. That's crazy. I didn't read it all. Vulnerable part of me, reactions are protecting. And what did I just say? Someone who knows how to defend his or her options. So that's very interesting that, yeah, I can defend myself even if I'm wrong. Number 6, a better way to care for myself, was the Ace of Cups. And it's funny because this just looks like water down here. And then on the back, it almost looks like musical notes. So I find that interesting. So where we have chalices. Life, emotional innocence, thought directed towards one's own emotions. So here we have several words. Life, which is what I said about the Empress, and kind of the Ace of Pentacles. We have emotional innocence, which this is what I said here. Or no, she said here. Well, I didn't say innocence, but it's an emotional factor. And then thoughts, which is the King and the Knave of Swords together. So they're all like superimposed, connected to each other. That's just crazy. And then, of course, thoughts directed. And it's just funny that it says thoughts directed at one's own emotions. And we have the 2 cards that are about thoughts right before that emotions. Again. So that is very interesting. I don't know how you guys are taking that, but that's crazy. But I do like this spread. I think I will use it again. Let me know if you guys have used it, if you haven't used it, if you want to use it. I'm going to take a picture of the spread real quick. Yeah, just let me know in the comments below what you thought of this. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you can be alerted to any future videos. And you guys have a great night. Bye.